5 Benchmade knives that everyone should own, and Benchmade is not sponsoring this video. Matter of fact, I'm wearing a Montana Knife Company shirt to just let you know they're not sponsoring this video. They're sponsoring this video. More on them later. Listen, everybody should own some Benchmades if you're a collector of knives that are made in America. And the first one I think that you should buy should be the Benchmade Bailouts. Now, the Benchmade Bailout has been out for a number of years. I think it came out after the Benchmade Bug Out. I think it's significantly better than the Bug Out. If you get the Bailout, don't get the one that I purchased my first go round. Okay, the one I have has the glass breaker on the bottom and the shortened lanyard hole. Okay, you're gonna want to go with some of the new versions. Now, you don't want to necessarily go balls to the wall like I did here and get the one that's S90V. You can still get ones. I think they make them just with a downgraded instead of M4. I forget what they make them out of. But the reason I like this is the aluminum scales. This one's carbon fiber, but the aluminum scales are fantastic. I love the blade shape. I love the action on the knife itself. It's really, really good. And I think it's just significantly better than the Bug Out. If you're trying to figure out like, hey, X, what would be the one and done Benchmade knife that you would own? I'm talking like I would really have to think about it. I would really have to put on my brain housing group, but I think the end answer would be the Bailout. All right, Bailout, fantastic. It, like I said, the base models are coming in with the aluminum scales. I have it in this green colorway, M4 steel, which is fantastic. Mine needs a sharpening. Mine's a little bit older, longer in the tooth. I'm going to send this into Benchmade to get taken care of. And for me, you are getting the deep carry pocket clip, which they're known for. It's really good stuff. And so I just think that this is one of those knives where it's just like, there are so many SKUs offered by Benchmade, but this is one of those that when you get it, you're going to be like, yeah, I get it. I get the cling. I get the clack. I get the, just listen to, you can kind of just understand why that's the first go-to. Just send it in for sharpening and kind of get the stuff done and all that good stuff. If you're trying to find a good entry level, these are kind of like my go-to entries. And in my go-to entry level for watches, you find yourself the knife, you want an entry level watch, you got to look at the Veer C3 and C5 calendar white field watches. These are coming in less than 200 bucks. They're well made. I love how big and easy the watch is. Reads. Like, that's one of my favorite parts. You still get 2 watch straps with this bad boy, sapphire crystal glass. You get a 2-year waterproof guarantee. Look at the dial. This one I have here is the 36 millimeter. You can get the 40 millimeter if you want the S5. Just look how easy that is to read. Big, beautiful watch face. Turning off the lights, you can still, has just enough room for an entry-level watch where you can really see the hour and the minutes hands. Then they mark at the 10, the 2, the 4, and the 8, and the 12. So you're kind of good to go when it comes to lume. But we are now approaching, if not below 100 days until Christmas. This is my go-to recommendation if you're trying to find that man or that woman in your life, a fantastic watch that would be just a great entry level when it comes to getting them away from a smartwatch, getting them into an analog watch. There's a micro brand, and they have a lot of employees here in the United States. They make a lot of different watches in the United States, some overseas. But the thing is, I like the fact that they're expanding. They have a great, fantastic warranty process. I actually sent one of my watches in as if I were a customer, and they completely took care of me, so, kind of what is a 36 millimeter going to look like on my wrist? That's kind of how that looks and feels. Shout out to Veer for sponsoring today's video. Check out the links in the description below for the best pricing on that. The next one, in my opinion, has to be the Benchmade tagged out. You can get the mini tagged out. I have the regular tagged out here. I have this one in the new LMAX steel. Benchmade did not send this out to me. I purchased this with my own money from the base website. LMAX steel, it is an Austrian steel. So I guess this is still technically a made in America knife. I don't know, Benchmade, let me know in the comments down below. But so they took this and they're going with the Grivery scales, which is proprietary to Benchmade. And this feels like what I said this before on the Mini Presidio 2, which is not listed here. This feels like what the Benchmade Bug Out should have been. They're completely different blade shapes. But when you're talking about a knife that you can take in the field with you, you can use it for hunting purposes and all that good stuff. This is I think that a hiker would like, something that someone that's actually hiking and using their stuff would like. I mean, I love the detailing on here. It does have jimping kind of right here where where your finger guard will go at. Has a sharpening choil, not really a finger choil. It has jimping on the top of the spine of the blade right there. Good looking thumb studs. Love the blade shape on this. It's just a very good knife. Okay. I love the profile of this knife. I love the action of it. This knife for me personally, this is the second tagged out that I've owned. I've owned this particular tagged out for 2 days. The action out the box, significantly better than any action I got on any Benchmade out of the box, except for the aluminum versions of the Benchmade, which is ridiculous that you have to like search for the perfect bug out action by just literally buying a bunch of them. Tagged out, you're not going to regret it. It's going to feel good. L-Max is going to be great for outdoor use. I'm glad they went with the L-Max. The thing about the L-Max, it's a little bit newer than the S30V. S30V is Benchmade's go-to. S30V is probably over 20 years old now, like 25 years old. Whereas L-Max, you know, it's getting up there. It's not quite 20 years old yet, but it is what it is. Listen, you got to go with an Osborne design at a minimum for the third Benchmade that you should own, whether it's the mini Osborne or the regular Osborne. This is the reverse Tanto styling. There's just the layout of it. It's just a unique looking knife. It's a well-made knife. I think it's just like this screams Benchmade. If you're trying to figure out, you know, I think this, besides the bug out, this is probably one of the most cloned and maybe counterfeited knives that Benchmade makes. And now we're going with this. You now get the split arrow pocket clip, which I think is significantly better than the mini deep carry pocket clips. And yes, the mini deep carry pocket clips are deeper, like that's what the name of those are. So if you look at these here, if you were to look at the profiling, right, split arrow right there, and then the deep carry pocket clip on that tagged out, it is deeper, but gripping to the pocket, the split arrow grips to your pocket better, in my opinion. I like the way it kind of gets in there. It stays where you want it. And the Osborne action has been great since I got it out the box. Whether I had the full size Osborne, the mini Osborne, it does not matter. The Osborne is just kind of one of those go-to. S30V still on this. Great cutting shape. Gets through and slices through, clears its way out of stuff very easily. If you're cutting towards yourself, it's very good for that. Cutting through burlap, if you're cutting through fabrics or whatever, it's fantastic. You know, if I had to stop and say which Benchmades would be the 3 that I own, it would be these, okay? It would be a tagged out. It would be an Osborne of some type. It would be a bailout. That would be the ones. It would be a lot that I missed, a whole lot of knives that I missed. Specifically the Adamas. Okay, I love the Adamas. They're big, they're bulky, they feel like you're carrying a brick in your pocket. But something about the Adamas, when you actually put this thing to work, if you take this outdoors and you use it, you can feel this, like how this knife is really tactical in nature, and it's also really slated. It's just a good knife. Look at this marbled carbon fiber on there. That looks real good. And this one's the Magna Cut steel. This is a great knife. But even if you don't want to get the mini Adamas, you can get the full size Adamas. That comes in crew wear, where I think they make them in multiple now. But this one here is like the OD green color, like it's almost like a Ranger Green, OD green type of colorway. And for me, if you had to go with one, I would say get the Wampin big size, full size Adamas, 4-inch blade steel, jimping everywhere that it matters. Top here, full liners is just a very good knife. Jimping down here where your finger guard is. A great knife if you actually want to have a folding knife that can withstand you hitting it with a log to try to split some wood, make some kindling or something like that. This is a knife that can get that done. You can also begin the process of kill with this knife. This is just a well-rounded knife, a great knife, especially with that crew wear to resistance for resistance of rust, being good outdoors. It feels fantastic with these cutouts it looks good with these cutouts in the scales themselves. This is just a very good knife. If I had to pick between the two, if I was trying to go like, hey, do you want to go with the full size Adamas? Do you want to go with the mini Adamas? I probably would go with the full size, just because when you're actually putting it to use outdoors, having that much more blade does feel that better. But those are kind of like the go-tos. And then I guess if you got to say the fifth, Everybody, if you're a Benchmade collector, you gotta own some type of bug out. It's just like a requirement. Okay, there's so many others I could recommend than the bug out, the Mini Presidio 2, the Griptilian, the 710. Just like the list goes on and on for just bug outs. I would even like to own the mini bug out more than the regular bug out, because this knife, it hit the market in 2017. It grabbed the knife world by the scrotum because of the lightweight nature. In 2019, they came out with the mini bug out. They knew they had a hit. The Axis lock had already been out for a while, but this really just kind of brought to people's attention the functionality of a lightweight knife. The Grivery was something that just was outstanding. People liked it a lot. I own several bug outs. I think I own like 6 of them all together. This is the original OG colorway. I only own it in the partial serrated version, which is harder to get your hands on. You normally have to custom order these on Benchmade's website or buy them on base. They sell them like this on base. I like the partial serrated just for fibrous materials, ropes, and stuff like that. I got a save round for you guys. I talked about a save round for the 5 Benchmade knives that you should own. I think personally, there's so many saved, there's so many recommendations that could be had when it comes to Benchmade, but at a minimum, you gotta own a 710. The 710 is the knife that Benchmade put the Axis lock on. That Axis lock is what is arguably kind of made them famous. You know, in the 90s, in the late 80s, kind of getting away from the liner lock. They were really focused on the tactical bros with the Emerson and stuff like that. When they came out with the 710 25 years ago, this knife is what really kind of started the ball rolling for all these companies that do crossbar locks now. It was the 710. And look at that one. Just the cross, it's so well done on the 710 with the aluminum scales, the McHenry design, the recurve design blade shape, which I completely suck at sharpening. Thank God Benchmade has their life sharp warranty, because I can just send it into them. Full liners, great standoffs, great accents, good looking knife, paying homage to the OGs who did it first. Great action when it comes to this thing. For this thing to be a 4-inch blade, I think this is about 4 inches. Just look like it's just a very easy knife to use. They put that new ramp system that came from the Narrows onto this bad boy. This is kind of like one of my go-to. If there was a save round, if there was just like, hey, which one probably makes you feel the most bubbly inside, it would probably be the 710. Comment down below, what are the go-to Benchmades that you should own no matter what? Stand by for my review of the tagged out. I need more time with this LMAX time tagged out, because I can't really do a review if I only had it for 2 days. But I've had the tagged out. I've had the mini tagged out, but with the cutout with the thumb hole. First time I've had it with a thumb stud, so I need more time with it. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grade. Everyone else, we'll speak soon.